Okay, everyone, at this point, we have explored a lot of tools with Zoom. Right now, we are going to look at a couple of the features you can do as a teacher within the Zoom. So right now on my screen, you're viewing a video with our admin assistant, Jennifer. So she kindly volunteered to help us out today. Now, on my screen, when I hover, you will notice a couple of different features here that you haven't seen as a participant before. So one of the things I wanted to show you was the nonverbal communication. So when I hover over manage participants, you see who's in the meeting. So you'll see me as the host, and then you'll see Jennifer here as the participant. Now, not only can I mute her, but I can actually see some of her responses to the questions. So Jennifer has the capability of raising her hand or marking yes or no, depending on questions. So let's say I'm doing a live lesson or giving students some feedback, and one of the students had a question. You can enable the raising hand tool. So Jen's going to go on her side in her platform. She's going by her name, and there's just a couple little dots there and a few options of what she can hit. And she's going to find raise hand, and she's going to raise her hand virtually, just as if she had a question. Now, only I can see this at this point. So I'm going to answer the question like, okay, Jen, what do you want to know? I'm going to talk about that. And then here, I'm going to put lower hand. So it just goes away. Now you'll notice too on the screen towards the bottom right, there's a yes button, a no button. So you can ask a question and have students participate that way. So it's kind of neat. You can clear all the responses with if you need to. So there's a lot you can do with it as well. And this is where the chat will take place as too. So if you have people asking questions, it will start to populate in this area as well. And you see the little chat feature down there. Again, if you're disabling that for your lesson, you don't want to have chat enabled, you don't want to have nonverbal communication, that's totally fine. We already went through how to do that in our settings tutorial. So now the last thing I wanted to share was the whiteboard. So if you notice here, I'm going to go to share and we're going to get to whiteboard. So hang tight. Okay, so I have a lot of options here. I chose whiteboard because I'm sharing my screen. So if I share whiteboard, you're going to see just this blank canvas that I can write on. This is great for math problems if you're doing them live. If you have a touch screen, it's awesome because you can just click on this thicker item and I can go ahead and walk my students through how to do this math problem on the number line. So I can set that up and talk to them. Jen can see this. I'm sharing my whiteboard. There's an eraser. A lot of this is self-explanatory, but again, something to point out. There's also a spotlight you can hit. So if you want to make sure they hover over certain parts of what you're doing. And one of my favorite things too is there's little stamps. So if you want them to remember to think about the beginning of the number line and the end of the number line, you can indicate that as well. If you don't like this purple color, there's so many other selections for you too. So there's many ways of formatting. You can just go ahead and click on that. You can even change the font if you're doing a text box. And then to go back and share your screen again, you can simply hit that screen button and then share, and you'll be able to see what we were originally looking at. Now, it's really important to remember, final note, to save your whiteboard. It will go to your files and you won't have to worry about saving it, but it does not save automatically. So once you're done with the whiteboard, make that mental note to save it for yourself, and then you can always upload it later to another document. So that's all for now. Stay tuned for our very last video.